So I just spent the last hour maybe in the hospital talking with, you know, the whole group of people that come in to intimidate you. I wasn't intimidated at all, and they didn't like me very much, to say the least. I brought up a lot of questions that nobody has ever asked, not surprisingly. I wasn't very surprised about that. You know, it's just the policy. They can't show me none of the policies, but it's the policy. Well, the policy that I did see, which I don't know if you know it's a policy, it's just a sign in front of the front door that the care team can change the visitation as they choose. So we're trying to get them to let my sister, at least, you know, my thing is this: if you give my mom drugs, she's super sensitive to these drugs. If you give her these drugs every time she wakes up, kicking and screaming, it's going to be a never-ending cycle. My mom is super sensitive to drugs, she's super claustrophobic. It's going to be a never-ending cycle. For all we know, she could already be up and awake, but you guys keep knocking her out. And that's what they do. They keep giving her like a massive dose of Ativan and putting her out. And like I said, my mom is, I can't even explain how, I can't express how sensitive she is to drugs. So I spent, at first I was in there with a patient advocate who I already talked to on the phone, and we're in the middle of our conversation, and I was going to call my sister. So my sister's on three-way, because I wanted them to know these aren't only my concerns, and my sister has the same concerns, so does the rest of our family. So I grabbed my phone out and I sit on the table, like still talking, and one lady's like, "Are you recording us?" Now there's 4 people in the room besides me at the time. I'm like, "Would it matter?" "Well, yeah, it matters." "Why would it matter? Are you going to say something that you don't want everybody to hear?" She's like, "No, we're just in a private space." I was like, "Where's?" I was like, "We are?" She's like, "Yeah, we're in an office." I was like, "Yeah, we're in an office with the door wide open to a public area. There's no expectation of privacy here. If I want to record you, I could. I'm not, though, just so you know." And, you know, they told me a lot of stuff I already knew, and they wanted to keep saying, you know, I don't use my experience as what's going on with my mom. I use my experience as evidence as to why I have concern. And they want to keep saying that, you know, you can't use your experience and what's going on now, but I see the same things happening now that happened when I spent the time I did here, which wasn't long. I broke my pelvis on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. I had a fractured vertebrae in my back. I had 2 discs in my back that were crushed. They missed those, I guess probably because I left so early. I had a broken leg, separated shoulder, and a head injury, and I was in the hospital just over 24 hours. I woke up the next morning, I had surgery, and with the head injury, they let me leave. Yeah, but we had some of the same issues that we're having now. Like with patient visitation, they didn't want me to have any visits. They made it so I couldn't have any visits, and they tried to explain that today. Well, if I say something that they don't like, basically is what they said. You know, if there's a nurse that feels like safety is an issue or something with that, like I told them, that's subjective as hell. What the hell are they doing? Yeah, right. 2 females is going to a house with bondsman jackets on. Yeah, good luck. Anyway, that's subjective, and you know, how do you know the nurse just don't know me, or me and the nurse just didn't get along, and now that's going to affect my whole family? They said that something that I say could affect my mom's visitation from everybody, meaning I could say something, and because of that, they wouldn't let my sister or my brother come in. It's just a big fucking mess, and it's all over policies that there's no policy. So the policy they gave me for CV is right here. Visitation policy is what it is. That's not what I want to see. I want to see the policy that says why this visitation is the way it is, because of this C virus crap, and they can't show me. Well, it's the policy, but we can't show you. I said, well, you show me that. Well, we don't have access to that. So you don't have access to this policy, but it's policy? I mean, you're talking in circles. Like, I'm not very good at fucking riddles, and I'm catching up on this one. I see what's going on here. You all just don't want people to have visits. And they don't, because when, you know, it's like anything else. Like I told them, every patient is the most important patient in that hospital to that family. And I get that. But we just know we see what's going on. From standing on the outside, we see what's going on with my mom. You have her restrained. It's causing a problem. Let's get around this. How do we get around this? If you all can't put somebody with her, which is what we first asked and they said they couldn't do, let us be there with her. Let us sit there with her. My sister has a medical background. Let her try it. Let my sister stay here for 12 hours. Leave my mom unrestrained. Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. And of course, you know, the government is using the private sector, like I said, to violate our rights, and it's not going to stop. You know, next is going to be vaccines, or it's going to be your digital ID for your money, or whatever it's going to be. And they're going to use the private sector to do it unless we stop it. Like, I'm not saying you're not doing your part. I've been trying to do my part, what I can do without stopping myself from being able to do stuff later. If that, I hope you understand, like the kind of code talk there. Like, I only do so much without stopping myself from being able to act later. But it's got to be stopped. I mean, at what point, or is it just over? We're done. Like, I went in this hospital that everybody else was wearing masks. And you walk in, everybody's walking around like with diapers on their face. Then you walk into the patient advocate office, which is in the cafeteria of all places. You got to walk through the cafeteria, and it's in some little office in the back corner. That's how much they care. And everybody's in the cafeteria sitting 2 feet away from each other, eating and talking and cutting up and having a good old time. But you guys wear these masks throughout this hospital all day? Are you fucking serious? Like, use your own brains, people. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's out of this world, crazy. I don't understand it. If somebody can make me understand, I would appreciate it, but I'm never going to understand. You know why? Because it's fucking wrong.